Mike.
Heck. We good?
Mike Miggity. I think we're good.
Mike Miggity check. Yankees
Mike
winning.
Miggity.
Taking the series.
Yankees win. Take the series. Rangers are tonight. Game 7.
It's Game 7. That is tonight. Game 7 tonight. I didn't even know the Rangers won the playoffs till, like I told you, till they got to the playoffs.
I know. Well, that's what happens when you move to Florida. 20 years ago.
True.
Whatever it was.
I'm
surprised being in Orlando that you're not like a Tampa Bay Lightning fan or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Stop it.
Well, I don't know.
I know they won back to back or whatever.
I was gonna say that's not like a bad team. I'm just saying
it's not a bad team. It's just I don't like Florida teams are weird. I don't know. It's just if you live down here, the vibe is different when it comes to celebrating your team down here. It's like it's a weird vibe. It's like
nobody go. I mean, I can understand going to a hockey game because you got like permanent AC, right? And with the weather and everything.
That's the weird part.
Right?
Like going to a hockey game in the heat. It's like, it's
but
weird.
Imagine going to Tampa Bay. At least Tampa Bay's dome, and even Miami has like the enclosure now. But,
True. You guys thought we was not going to be back, this Sunday with the topics that we're going to talk about. Yeah, we
almost had the audio. We almost had the audible. We almost had to do a little.
Almost. It was audible to play.
But it's coming anyway.
It's coming. Yeah, man. See, people are in the chat. We started the show. The week in gaming, as always, or the week. That's not just gaming, but the week itself. Man, I'm completing week number 6 of my schooling, so that's a good thing.
Nice.
They sent me an iPad, bro. Like I was like, holy shit, a brand new fucking iPad.
That's
9th generation. Not the Air or the Pro, whatever, just the regular version of it.
Yeah.
But the newest one, which came out, I believe, in September. I mean, I got this, and I didn't even know I was gonna get it. I opened it up, and I'm like, oh shit, an iPad. And the guy called me, the guidance counselor. He goes, hey, man, did you receive it? I'm like, yeah, man, I got it. Good. This is good stuff. He goes, yeah, it's for the class. It's all good. It's yours. I'm like, all right, cool. So it's mine, right? He goes, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. I hung up with him, and I looked at the wife and goes, find the nearest pawn shop.
Wait, I'm sorry. The
pawn shop, yeah. We're going to pawn the fuck out of his iPad. No, I'll play.
No, that's fucked up. You can't do that.
No.
Wait, can you use the pen? Can you use the Apple Pencil on it still, even though it's not one of the pros?
That's the weird part. It has. Okay, so it has.
Don't leak. Make sure it's turned off.
I believe this right here is where the pen goes. If I was to get one.
No. Pen's bigger than that. That's actually a headphone jack.
Let's see. Okay, all right. So that's how much I know about fucking iPads. But
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna make the joke. Move along. Quick, change the subject.
Although Uncle Mike's in the chat, so he can back me up on that. If you say that joke, he can back me up.
I'm just saying, just for our recurring visitors and listeners. Okay. You know where I was going.
They already know where you were going. But moving on. So the iPad was given to me for class purposes, and not only the iPad, bro. It came with iMovie or what's that? The editing.
No. Not Final Cut. But it's.
Well, they gave me Final Cut too. They did give me Final Cut Pro.
That's like
$300 right there.
That's dope.
Huh?
That's really dope.
No, it's pretty dope. And then so it came with software too that's paid for, which is amazing. And then the bombshell for me was the guy was like, oh yeah, and in a couple of months, once you finish a couple of courses, we're going to be sending you a MacBook Pro. I'm like, yo, what the?
I was gonna say you didn't even know about this. You didn't even know about this.
No, I didn't. But my daughter, I had the guy on speaker. He's my daughter. She comes to the room. She goes, hey, Dad, high school. I graduate next week. Done with that. I'm like, congratulations, girl. Good stuff. And I go to college. After that, I'm like, yeah, proud of you, girl. I'm proud of you. You're my princess. All right, have a good day. She goes, no, hold on. I'm like, what? What's going on? She goes, that MacBook Pro. I might need something for school.
Stop.
I'll let you know how it plays and feels, so that when you go get yourself one, you're ready for that experience.
Shit. She gets a student discount. Fuck that. You get a student discount technically, but
you get a student discount. You don't need me. Shit. Uncle Mike said pen is magnetic. I use off. Yeah, I'm not gonna get no name brand shit. I'll just get some off brand if I need it. But yeah, that's like the guy said that. And I'm like, are you serious right now? He goes, yeah, and that's also yours for the class, and it's gonna come with some preloaded software in there that normally you would have to pay for. I'm like, this is amazing. It's pretty cool. It's all covered and shit. So, but these are the perks that came with. And here's the thing: why I'm surprised is because I'm doing online school, and I would think if I'm going in person, that's one thing because I'm in person, right? And I'm there. and they'll see me open up the MacBook or the iPad and play with it in class. They'll see that I'm using it that way.
Right.
But to be online schooling and then going, here's over $1,000 worth of devices, brand new, not refurbished, not something that just
well over $1,000.
Well over $1,000 because MacBook Pros are like what? I don't know what they're going for. 1,200.
I mean, even like a low spec MacBook isn't under 1,000 basically. Like you're looking at $1,000 anyway out the gate.
Okay, so I haven't been in that whole thing
on the lower end, but like nice what they could range, especially when you think about the specs and stuff like that, and how they purchase. But either way, it's still going to be able to do exactly what they're going to probably want you to do with it, as far as like any type of editing or any type of things. I mean, that's pretty dope. Yeah, that's
See,
really.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what because I haven't been in that spectrum like retail side of
you've
things.
been on mostly.
So I don't know what's
on the
the
Windows.
high tier, low tier.
Exactly.
I don't know pros.
Yeah.
I don't know that. So I'm assuming it's like in the 1,000 mark.
If it's one of those new chips, if it's their new like their M series chips and stuff like that, yeah. If it's on an Intel MacBook, I mean Intel MacBooks are still good regardless. But if it's their new Apple chips that they're making now proprietary, that's even sicker, because those chips are no joke for their ecosystem. And then there's a lot of compatibility with like iPad, with iPhone, as far as apps and stuff like that. Like you can get the App Store on the Mac.
Bro, I already have my iPhone, and that part right there. Look, the last time I had iPad a long time ago, but the last time I had an iPad, the setup was like, it was like a setup. It was a ridiculously long process. Wi-Fi this, Wi-Fi that, and then signing into a thing and then transferring shit over. Bro, like I powered it on, and it literally said, like, throw on your Wi-Fi, throw on my Wi-Fi, and then it said, we detect another, not Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We detect another Apple device. Would you like to connect to it? And then it said which one it was, which is mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll connect to it. As soon as I connect to it, it like literally did all the work for me.
Yeah.
To set up the iPad that way. I'm like, holy shit, like 2 minutes, done.
Your messages go over now. You get a text message, it'll go on the iPad. Whatever you start reading on the iPhone will go over to the iPad and vice versa.
Dude, it's just so seamlessly. It's like smooth. And I'm not endorsing Apple at all.
No. Yeah.
I can care less if I have Apple in my life.
It's going to sound like an ad read. It's going to sound like an ad.
It does. It does. Go to your local apple.com. Localapple.com. I'm old. But I made the joke, not you.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it set it up real smooth, real easy, right into the iPad and everything, all my contacts, or the app, even the apps. It never used to do that. The apps even downloaded. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I mean, it asked me if I want to download it because you may maybe not want to duplicate it, but it did, and I was like, well, everything I want, I want to bring it over, and actually saves me space on my phone because my phone is only 32 gigs, where the iPad is 64. So that space, I'm just gonna put it on there and let that double up over there. So that was pretty cool. Good surprise for the week. As far as gaming, what did I do for gaming? Trek to Yomi, still finishing that up.
Nice.
I'm doing the the difficulty achievements now, the Ronin challenge and the Kensai. I know Spidey's doing that. I've been watching his shit on Twitter. He's going all in on that. So I've been doing those difficulties to get that going through. I stopped doing the guys because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Doing guys is not easy. Not easy at all. I know I touched base on this a little bit yet last week, but it can be tedious. Like the literally hours of gameplay just to numb it down to or edit it down to minutes of gameplay is extremely hard. It's a niche too, a niche I should say. To find that audience that would want to watch those things is not easy, man. So I did put out the first 3 chapters of Trek to Yomi. So for those who are doing any kind of looking for collectibles, the first 3 that I put out is all the collectibles you can find in those 3 first chapters. So if you're looking into that, by all means, hit the page up, the channel up, and check that out. But I did that. Played a little bit more of. I'm back hooked on freaking Cold War. Played a little bit more of that. I don't know why I'm hooked on that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and I told you I ended up downloading the Warzone. But not for the actual regular battle royale. I downloaded it for the event that's going on for the week. The Godzilla.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's getting a lot of shit right now for it not being what people thought it was going to be as far as the whole thing. But I enjoyed it. It's underwhelming, but I enjoyed it. It's probably the best weapon camo and character skin they've made in a while.
Yeah.
As far as the Godzilla one goes, not the Kong. The Kong was weird, but the Godzilla one looks really good, or Gojira, how they say it.
Yep.
Really good. It has the gun when you inspect it. It does the Godzilla roar on the gun inspect, and I'm like, this is fucking bananas.
Yeah.
I hate that I can only use it either on Warzone or Vanguard, which is why I haven't purchased it, because I'm not about to go play Vanguard. No, I'm done with that game.
Yep.
So this is why I didn't purchase it. But I did that. And then my daily videos that I drop from Monday to Friday. Money asked me earlier, are my dailies only Monday through Friday? And I said, yeah, it's only Monday through Friday. I don't do weekends. I need a break too. He goes, man, I was looking for Saturday and Sunday. I'm like,
he said, I need a
bro.
break. He wants 7 days out of you.
He wants 7 days in a row plus a podcast plus whatever
tell
else.
him to join the fucking payroll, and then you know what?
Right.
Start cutting some content too.
Right. Join the editing team. Do all that for me. I'll be more than glad to do 7 fucking days a week. But yeah, that's what I did. I did more daily videos, and I'll continue doing that. I'm having fun with that actually. On the editing side, you know, like I'll find myself starting to editing the video.
Yeah.
But then the way my mind works is like, as I'm editing, I'm going, oh, I can add this sound, and I could add that effect, and I could do this different, and it's like what is meant to be a 5-minute video turns out to be 13 minutes because I've added so much shit to it. It's like, oh my god, but God, I think for quality it speaks. It's more entertaining that way. And then doing the stupid shit I do before the daily begins, where I do like a facial reaction or some dumb shit that I do. But that's been fun. That's what I've been doing this week. I've been playing little games here and there. And Lego Star Wars. I went back on that. I finished all the first 6 episodes of it. I went from 1 through 6. Now I'm on 7, 8, and 9. So I'm gonna do that. That game is pretty good. I like that game. That's about it, man. That's my week. That's what I did for the week, man. How about you?
Let's see. Getting more games downloaded back on my PC. You know, got a little extra space going on now, so I'm not as I'm not as particular now as what I'm actually downloading. Like I'm actually getting back into like a game rotation of just like, oh, I could have my Mass Effect installed again, 110 gigabytes, because I didn't finish up Mass Effect 3 yet for Legendary Edition. I was like, all right, that's something to go back in and check out. I'm still playing MLB The Show, having a lot of fun with that. Getting on some more Halo. Been playing a lot more. I got some ranked games in the other day and stuff like that. It was feeling pretty good. I'm still a little janky with the shooting and with some other things. We're going to talk about it. So I don't want to jump into the topic. So it's close. So we're going to talk about it. There's good news around the corner actually. So I'm really excited about us getting to that topic. So so take that for what you will. And then man, just normal gaming and stuff. A little more League of Legends with.
I was gonna ask, have you gotten some League of Legends in?
Yeah, no, got some. Always getting some League in. And yeah, that's always a fun time. I shouldn't say it's okay. It's not always a fun time because sometimes you just have nights where it's just like you're getting rolled, which was I think
definitely.
2 nights ago.
I think that's every game though. Yeah,
well,
but yeah.
2 nights ago we had it where we couldn't win one, and then finally we ended up getting into a game like it was our last game 2 of the night, and we won a game, and it was just like, oh wow, because we were just getting
out of the whole session.
We were getting the sweatiest fucking people. Like I'm not even back. I'm like high silver. I'm back, but my MMR, so like my ranking, I play like I guess low gold. It would be like for ranking. So, but the people we were getting matched up against were like, if I'm high silver, low gold, these people were platinum and diamond. They were diamond players.
Wait, which are matching you up with higher ranks,
like higher MMR people, which happens sometimes. Like it depends on like how who's playing and things like that. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people always playing the game.
The infamous SBMM.
No, it's not skill-based matchmaking necessarily. But it's MMR, so it's loosely based on what your account MMR is, which is like another way of like I guess it is kind of like skill-based matchmaking to a certain extent, but it takes into account it tries to take into account everybody you're playing with. The people I play with are higher ranks than me, but so they generally tend to pull higher people. But these people that we were playing were higher than them, but their MMR. So like even though they're not at that rank, their MMR is at that higher level because it's like the level you play at versus the level you are at. You know, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Right. So you know what I mean. So we were getting like high quality, especially too when you queue up as like bigger parties, you tend to get other stacks of people, and then that's always a fun thing too. So you're not the only ones communicating with each other. Everybody else is communicating on the opposite team, so they're more coordinated and stuff. So that's always a fun situation. So we had that, and then I also played some Cold War myself with my dad. I got some games in as well with Cold War. Hey man, listen, my dad was rocking 70 kill games. Oh, I got into a fun lobby though where we got spawn trapped on where were we playing on Standoff? I think we were playing Standoff. I forget.
Standoff is the one with the grandma's house to the right.
Yeah. So we were playing standoff and we got spawn trapped in both spawns. And like our whole team quit. It was just like me and my dad left, and the 6 of them, and we kept just spawning and dying because they literally had us in a trap.
Oh yeah, they had
and here
traps.
I am saying to myself, like, "Fuck, they literally won't spawn us on the other side of the map for anything." And we
Because
just
you know
got
how
spawn
Call of
locked.
Duty works. There's a line, imaginary line that if you don't cross it, it'll just keep spawning on that side.
Well, yeah, but the line I felt like was a little skewed when like I was spawning on top of people and they were shooting me. So it was, I was like, that was fun. And
I mean,
ran into a hacker, but that's always fun too.
I think for Cold War, for me, the fact that, well, a couple of things that got me playing it again. Obviously, Vanguard not being a good game title for me. So as far as multiplayer goes, so I'm on Cold War. But the rotation of the OG maps from Black Ops, like the standoff, the raid, and I think I said this already, the raid, standoff, slums. They've added, what's that map they added? Jungle. They added jungle to it.
They added jungle. Yes.
So because of these classic maps that I totally enjoyed on the older Black Ops, they brought that back into this into this Cold War game. I'm rotating more of those in the newer maps. I'm going, this is pretty cool, which only lends to the whole how I don't understand how they're developing maps nowadays, and they're not hitting. I don't know why they're not hitting, but then you look at these older maps and go, this is why it's not hitting. These maps had actual environment.
Right.
Like environment around you, and even though it's 3-lane map, you don't feel the 3 lanes. It's an environment around you, and it makes you think you can go different routes. For example, slums, you can go up the middle, or you can climb the wall to the right side to get into that middle circle side of things.
Yep.
Like there's different like things you could do that, but with the newer maps, it just feels like a 3-lane map. It just feels like there's not really much to do, but this way, that way, and that way. This is what got me on Cold War, and the gameplay is addicting as far as challenges goes.
Camos, weapon camos,
the
and stuff.
Camos, they got that carrot dangling at the end of the stick perfectly fine. But yeah, man, Cold War is some of the things we do. Let's shout out the chat before we get into our conversations or topics, I should say. All right, let's see what we got. I know we had Spidey come in here. Shout out to Spidey. He's been playing Trick to Yomi as well. He's doing, like I said earlier, he's doing the Kensei. I'm not sure if he finished it yet, but Kensei mode. That mode is you can kill the enemies in one shot, but they can also do the same thing to you, which is not much of a problem until you get to bosses. That's when it gets really crazy, because when you get to bosses, you still get killed by one hit by them, but they have a whole health bar. So you have to dwindle down. So that's when difficulty really ramps up. So shout out to Spidey for doing that. Uncle Mike in the chat. Hopefully your back's feeling better. Hopefully you got some remedy for that. And hit me up if you need any. I know you already have done this, but hit me if you need any kind of like ideas, like with the chair, or what kind of chair I use, because I also have back issues. So let's see who else is in here. Scrolling. Shinrock. My boy Shinrock's in here. All right. Shinrock's in here. Ink Studios is in here. Good shot.
Yep.
Good shout out there. Yobi, my brother Yobi's in the chats. We in the building. Let's go. And then he let's see. Anybody else? Nope. And then he wrote, make sure to make a playlist for Trek to Yomi Guide. Thanks for the hard work. There is a playlist already done. It's really under its own thing, Trek to Yomi. But it's only 3 chapters. Check that out. If you want to get the first 3 chapters out the way, it's there. I think Shinrock wrote something that I wanted to. Okay, my son got a Chromebook and a couple of grand from his school this year. I'll keep the grand. I mean, you can keep the Chromebook. I'll take the grand, a couple of grands. Oh, actually, I'm not that greedy. You take one, I'll take the other. That makes it a couple.
Infinite just joined as well too. Umbra.
Umbra's in it. Oh, my boy Umbra. You want to stick around, brother? Because I got a good sound opinion on one of our topics that's been hovering around the podcasting world. So just stay around here. But no, the Chromebook. I had the Chromebook. I still have the Chromebook. I had the Chromebook. It's a pretty neat book. It does what it needs to do. It's a really good efficiency. It's literally it's an Android phone, but with a little bit more options as far as the laptop part goes. So I like it. It's pretty good, and the battery life on it is a lot. Like it really lasts. Well, at least mine did. Lasts like days before I have to charge it up again. So, and it uses the USB-C.
Yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, shout out to the chat, everybody here. Let's go. Start these topics, yo. Let's start off with what we're gonna start off with.
Well, it wouldn't be a Sunday podcast without our weekly Halo TV game discussion, because that's another thing, just another game update as well too. But we're gonna the floor will be yours for the Halo TV discussion. Even though I couldn't run away from the fucking topics on Twitter this week from Master Chief and Master Cheeks, and he was getting some cheeks,
Master Cheeks get some cheeks,
and he's got a helmet he's got armor that's like supposed to protect him against fucking everything, but yet I got video, or I'm looking at screenshots of him and his face is all bloody, and I'm like, why wasn't he wearing his fucking helmet? That's just my take. I haven't even seen the episode.
He wasn't wearing the whole suit. Period.
Whatever.
He wasn't wearing nothing.
Whatever. So that's what I mean.
Just a helmet.
Is what I'm saying. So I will let you take over this part of the discussion. And I was
trying to create enough time to see if what's his name comes in, Other Zinc, because this is his favorite part of the show. So, but we're gonna go. All right. So let me get my notes here. I'm gonna get my notes ready because I come prepared. All right. So the Halo show. It was episode 8. So episode 8 next week being the season finale, which they've set it up so beautifully. But the season finale, they already got promos out for the season finale. It looks like it's gonna be a badass episode as far as the Covenant fighting the Silver Team in them.
Yep.
And the way he says it, where they're like, "Oh, we'll send the troops in," and he goes, "You send the troops in, they're all gonna die. Just send us in. We got this." Mad cocky, and I love that shit. But there's different aspects in the show. I'm looking at my notes here. Like, they showed off like they talked about 11 million people dying in the show, and they showed off like I think it was Agare, where they showed off like the it's like how they like they killed every citizen in there. They spoke about that. Showing off the Covenant being ruthless, like really badass. They don't give a shit about life. They're just going through planets,
right?
Not caring, like looking for what they're looking for, not caring about what's in their way.
Have they talked about the Covenant glassing planets yet, or have they gone over that in the show?
That's what they're doing in this episode. They touch on that. They're glassing planets.
Because that's the big thing when they glass a planet. Literally, they fire from their capital ships. They fire down this beam of energy that just literally turns.
They didn't show it.
It melts.
After what is it? The aftermath. That's the part they show, and it's like, oh shit, they got.
And they end up, I mean, I don't know if it's really a spoiler. I guess it's a spoiler for people that haven't played Halo, but they end up doing it to Reach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is something that. So take that for what you will. I don't know what they're going to show, whatever. Like, but it's crazy. They don't fuck around. That's the thing, and they are very ruthless. They're ruthless in the video game as well too. You know.
Yes, they are. Yeah. They definitely showed that off in this episode. They showed that side of the Covenant and what they're doing, the brutes and all that, like how they don't give a fuck, and they're showing how ruthless they are. Like the emotion is there, to the point where you see them finally squared off. That you're gonna feel that, like, oh shit, they're going at it. They obviously, you probably seen the memes all over fucking Twitter, like you mentioned, but they explored the connection between Chief and McKee. The connection there is a lot of people upset with the whole, Chief finally, having a sex scene or whatever. It wasn't a like, I don't know if you remember, like my thing on, okay, let me ponder my thoughts here. In any show, I'm cool if you don't have a sex scene in there, especially if you're trying to force that onto a show just to get ratings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean by that?
Yep.
Like, if you're doing it for ratings and it comes across as cringy, I see it. This scene, even though they didn't show off like a lot of stuff, it was just, them look at each other, shirt off, whatever.
Yeah, the casual, that. Like getting to the point
casual
where
shit,
the insinuating, like, this is where it's going. So put
this
two and two together,
and then it'll just cut ahead and then show them in the bed talking or whatever. That's what they showed. It felt unneeded. It didn't need to happen.
Okay.
As far as having a relationship, go for it. But that part right there, it just seems like they just stuffed it in there just to get the ratings up and go, look, see, we have sex scenes also. It's a mature show. It didn't really need to be there. I get why they did it. It just didn't need to be there. So that was kind of cringy to me, especially because they explore these guys having feelings for each other, and then I don't want to spoil it, but then it gets to a point where they're no longer there. Like, they split. So it's like, why waste your time getting to this point in their relationship if you're not going to explore it, period? Like, it's just a quick thing. Like, what do you want to do with this? Like, where are you going with this angle of them having intimacy in one episode? Yep. So that part I was a little, I don't know what's going on there. So we'll see what's going on there. But I'm glad they snipped it and they cut it really quick. They showed you a little bit and they're like, nah, we're going to move on. It's almost like the writers was like, we recorded the scene. We don't really want to go through it. Just rewrite that whole scene and just show this part and then we'll move on. almost feels like that. Big plus that there was no Quan, for me at least. There's no Quan in this whole entire episode. That's a win for me. Big W, but no Quan in this episode, which just tells me that next week is going to be huge with her, because of what they really reveal she is going to be to Master Chief and how she's the key. They showed a lot more of the human side of Chief, which I appreciate that. He didn't have his armor on in one of the scenes where Silver Team's whip his ass, but he didn't have his armor on, so it made sense, that he got his ass whipped like that. But it's because he didn't have his armor on. I'm enjoying the relationship now with Kai and how she came to his rescue, Master Chief, and how the other two is like conflicted because of what's her name is doing. What's the doctor's name?
Halsey.
Halsey, like what Halsey's doing and how she's, this episode shows off how ruthless she is, how she doesn't give a shit about feelings and emotions. She just wants the human race to progress forward,
right,
and elevate themselves. I get that, but at what extent? Like at what cost is the moral part? And it's having us explore that and visit that through her. And I'm enjoying that about the show. That aspect is really good because when a show can play with my emotions and either me hating a character, loving a character, or just sad for a character, whatever emotions I'm going through, but you're amplifying that, you did your job as an actress or actor, period. Yep. You did your job. The writing is perfect and you did your job because now I'm hating you or I'm loving you. And that's what an actor is supposed to do. It's supposed to draw reactions and emotions from you. She did that really good. Ross said people died for that booty. Yes, people did die for that booty. A lot of people died for that booty. But after this episode, we're back to square one when it comes to her, McKee. I'm talking McKee and Chief and the Covenant, all that stuff. Back to square one. That's the part I want to spoil. There's actions, there's stuff that happens in this episode that makes her go back. Like, okay, I'm done. Like it goes back to that. So pretty good episode. Solid for me after it. Good follow up after last week's episode or 2 weeks ago with the whole Quan thing. Which by the way, I revisited the episode and I don't feel too bad about it now. I watched it again. I bump up the numbers to 6 out of 10. After what Other Zinc wrote with the whole, he wrote to me that there was more in there than just what I saw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go back and watch it without bias. And I enjoyed it, but it still moved up maybe 1 point, a 6. I didn't really like that episode too much because what excites me about Halo, the series, the TV series, is the Silver Team, Master Chief, that story between Halsey, Cortana. Oh, by the way, Cortana was so fucking sad with Master Chief's got the cheeks. But yeah. Other than that, man, I enjoyed it. I know you haven't watched it yet because you're gonna binge it.
I'm gonna binge it.
The remaining episodes, but next week is the last week, and
that's literally next week is when I'm gonna be binging it. So
they've done promos on it, and it looks really good. Looks like they're gonna fight off with the Covenant. A whole battle is gonna happen next week. So I'm looking forward to next week's season finale.
Nice, yeah, man. So I'm excited to see. So it's Thursday again too with the release, right? So Wednesday I might actually go through and run through them, and then just
it comes out. The episodes drop at 3 a.m. Eastern.
I know that's what I mean. So if I'm up, I might be watching it depending on how I feel. But yeah, and then to shift gears real quick and go over to the Halo Infinite discussion of this portion of the topic. Yeah, we got some really cool news and updates. I mean, I think we kind of talked about this last week to a certain extent as far as like them looking at the feedback and saying that they're. I mean, remember we played the video. There's a couple of things. Things that they spoke about. Adding classic maps and things like that, but specifically right now, as far as hot fixes and things that the community is actually like, what the fuck, with season 2 being released and stuff, we got this update here, and this was in the forum, basically in the Halo Infinite forum on Wavepoint, and essentially right off the rip. So they understand season 2 Wolves. They've been very excited about it, listening carefully to the feedback. The big thing, weapon jamming. This is something I was talking with Jenna about on Twitter, and Nick chimed in as well too. That's something that I've been experiencing actually in my playing. It doesn't happen as often. I mean, for me specifically, when I was playing, I mean, it's more noticeable when you're playing like in ranked, and the only weapon you have that you start with is a battle rifle, and then you realize like, wait, I'm pretty sure I shot that guy 4 times in the face, but I didn't get the kill. And it's not even desync. It's just the gun's it's the gun jamming. The gun's not shooting. So, and it's not supposed to do that.
That's not
So
designed. Okay, it's not meant to be that way.
it's not supposed to jam ever at all. It never jammed in any other previous Halo game. It's not supposed to do that. They found the bug, so they saw the community reports. They've been able to identify the root cause of the issue, and they're reverting the recent change to help get this into players' hands quicker. He goes, we've integrated this into our upcoming update and eager to get this released as soon as possible. So this is like hot fix priority. We need to get this pushed out. So
Good.
I'm hoping sometime in the next few days, this week, we get this update here. Same thing with the jump ups, what people were talking about here. They specifically mentioned these 4 jump ups here were skill jump ups. So they actually,
which is what the pros and the
a lot of the
ranking community's been talking
exactly.
about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right here, so live fire, key door, house panel, bizarre, double doors, both sides, Aquarius, P side edges with adjustment, streets, pizza, the pizza jump up. I mean, like I said, they completely took these jumps out and got rid of them because they felt that. I mean, and he explains it here. They're rolling it back, and then in some situations, they actually redesigned how the jump works to make it where it's supposed to be there. Because sometimes it's like, and he says it here, where like you have a light fixture that's hanging, and your character interacts with that light fixture, and it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to do that, but it's just the way that it got coded that there's physics there, and you're able to grapple it. Shit that you're not supposed to be able to do, you get to do. I mean, and it is a skill to figure that out and to try to hit some of these jumps. So they made it where it's like a little more plausible, as if like it was meant to be there in the first place, pretty much. And and stuff like that. But and then he say here, moving forward, we hope to balance double door jump ups and bizarre, things like that. And now the biggest thing also too, which I don't know why the fuck they touched this in the first place. I'm just baffled, but whatever. Because you purposely put this in the game just like you did in fucking Halo 2.
This was
with
not
the
a
Scarab
glitch.
gun.
Yeah.
This was not a glitch. And then you just specifically took it out because I guess you didn't want people doing legendary runs. So like whatever the reason was.
It can only mean that though. It means that they saw the numbers to legendary runs being fucking demolished.
But people that were actually running this, like speed running this, because that's another thing, speedrunner community out there, which I do. I love watching speedrunners in all different types of games. I think it's like really, I enjoy it a lot. So I think for speedrunners being able to run through on a higher difficulty with this gun and do like an any percentage or whatever like that.
I did the legendary run with this gun. I'm not ashamed of saying it. I did my legendary run with the gun glitch, or not the glitch, but the gun. The what do you call this? What are they calling this thing?
They call it a tank. It's a tank gun, basically.
Tank gun. Yeah, I call it a scorpion gun, but the tank
yeah, that's
gun.
basically what it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
So they actually
it's literally it's like an Easter egg how you get this. You have to right from when you first go into the world.
Yep.
Like when you first come out of all that, and when you see the world is introduced to you. To the right, there's 2 cannons. Just jump on the second cannon.
This was okay. I'm gonna blow people's minds out.
Cannon, no homo, and then just fucking grab, press X and grab the gun. Now it looks weird because there's no actual scorpion gun in front of you as animation, but it's there, and it's weirder because when you shoot it, you have to make sure that you're clearing the ground because if not, you're gonna explode yourself.
If you remember the original Scarab gun from Halo 2 and what you had to fucking do to get that gun. Okay, and then in the map that you had to do, it was a plasma pistol. Not a plasma pistol. It was like a plasma. It was like the plasma rifle, kind of the one that the elites carry. But it's same thing, and it shot out the Scarab, basically projectiles. But you needed to go back then when we were still talking about like 2004 era. You had to go to a fucking Halo forum and watch somebody upload the video to fucking Machinima. This was pre-YouTube. Okay, this was that pain. So now, somebody found out, where the gun was, and then I'm sure quickly posted it to TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever. And then word got around and spreads like wildfire because it doesn't take long. And then everybody figured it out. But this is something fun. While you don't have, and here's the point that I want to make, while you don't have things like campaign co-op, network co-op, when you don't have things like Forge, why take away something that was fun for people to fucking use in the first place?
It was real. So it made no sense. The moment they announced this would be taken out in the season 2 update, I'm going, why?
Yeah,
like,
it was
how
silly.
did that bother anybody? It doesn't mess anything up.
Yep.
It was a weird thing to take out. I think originally they called it a bug, but then they digressed and then they said no, it was unintentional. We're gonna put it back, and now they're putting it back. It shouldn't have been touched in the first place. I think Umbra's talking about it in the chat. It shouldn't have been touched in the first place. Same thing with the jumps. I don't know if it was unintentional or because of part of a new code they put in that took the jumps out or whatever, but it just shouldn't have been touched. it at all. Like, are we even testing these builds out before we pumping them out? Is what I'm saying. Like, are we testing these
or the
things
reasons,
before you pump it out?
or the reason here kills. So what they say is in regards to some of the other common strategies, many of them, because this as far as campaign speed running, many of them are far more complicated as they're closely intertwined with the work we've been doing in preparation for co-op. But we'll continue to explore our options. So that's another thing too, where it's like this set of systems or what they already have in the game might not play nice or work nice once they implement
Well,
co-op.
until co-op comes, don't touch this because it's not messing up. It's just me playing. I can't play with nobody else at the moment, so leave it in there. Don't need to touch it. I see though when that ends up launching, I can see what they're talking about. How it may or may not work. It may be weird because I don't know how they're gonna. We don't know how they're gonna implement co-op in the first place. We don't know.
Correct.
Is that whole first part of the mission when you first start the game? Is that gonna be all co-op, or are you gonna have to enter the world first before co-op exists? Is that Scorpion going to be fit? Like, we don't know. Like, is it going to be fair to use with co-op? Is it tethered co-op? Is it not? Like, we don't know any of that. So that part, I understand that, but keep it in the game until that happens. Don't take out something that inadvertently your game was getting promoted and marketing by speedrunners because of this, by people like myself on Twitter and a lot of others that are just, oh my God, get this done, marketing the shit out of it. And those who normally won't play Legendary Run would now go say, I could probably do Legendary Run with this, which I ended up getting. I said, I'm going to use it. And I did a Legendary Run. I was planning on going back to do the lasso run with the whole Scorpion gun. They took it out, but they're going to put it back in. Now, hopefully I can run it again. It doesn't crash on me because it always crashes on me, but let's see what happens then. But I'm glad that they're listening to the community and they're improving on things and bringing stuff back that the community is like loud about. So,
and then just the last thing I want to touch on, basically they mentioned at the end more goodness. In addition to the changes above, upcoming update will have even more improvements. So they list off here PC stability improvements. I could appreciate that because I play on PC. Based on community feedback, equipment pods and Last Spartan Standing will now feature all equipment rather than just power equipment.
That's huge.
Rakshasa armor.
Rakshasa.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce. I'm sorry.
Rakshasa.
Armor. Core's leg, when using body types 1 and 2, will look as intended. In campaign, Spartan cores will accumulate correctly, and a player's balance should now always be accurate. Some players with campaign saves from pre-season 2 ended up with their Spartan core balance and equipment upgrade track in a bad state. This should now be resolved. Just a rare issue preventing players from crashing zones in King of the Hill. On Bazaar, Overshield will now spawn at the start of a match. Pelican vehicle drops will match their pre-season 2 frequency and type. Wasp respawn timers on high power will also be brought in line with their season 1 timers. In Big Team Battle, fire team color markers should be applied to your matchmaking fire team again. That's cool. And then right here, this was also another one that me and Jenna were talking about. Disabling speed lines should function as intended, meaning the fucking speed lines turned off.
Well, there's another one that he's talking about. They haven't fixed it. Is the weapon charm.
Yeah,
the weapon charm. For some reason, when you're next to a wall and you reload your gun, the weapon charm
it just floats and flies off your gun. Yeah, and just stays floating around. So hopefully they could get around to that one too. But that's a visual bug that I honestly could give a shit about over something like this, for example. This is a bug that it's like if I turn off something, I want it to be off. That's like having motion blur in there, and then imagine like having a motion blur setting, turn it off, and then it still shows you motion blur. That's annoying. Like, you know what I mean?
Motion blur should never be defaulted. By the way, motion blur should never be defaulted. That's my opinion. It should always be something you want to add on to your experience.
Supposedly, from what I understand, as far as motion blur is concerned, as far as console gaming is concerned, is that motion blur is added onto games or from a console perspective to make them look better. To make them look better, basically. But this is specifically for consoles, but obviously I don't know if just the consoles got better.
That's
like
fine
graphics and
if you
stuff,
leave
or
it for
PCs.
The campaign side, but you're leaving that on the multiplayer side as well.
Shit is annoying. Yeah, no.
Why are you putting motion blur in multiplayer, film grain, and everything else in between? Like, I don't need a cinematic experience on multiplayer. I need me, the gun, and the guy that I'm about to kill. That's all I need. Give me 60 frames. I'm all right. Or even 120. Give me that. I'm good. I don't need this whole cinematic experience on multiplayer. I'm just like, no, I don't want that.
And then just to end it out, team has been working hard to get as much as we can done in this update as quickly as we can. There are still a few more steps we need to take before we could release it out in the wild. We'll share more on the update specific release timing in the next few days. So this was May 13th. It's now May 15th. So like I said, hopefully we have something
This week,
early in
probably
the
Monday,
week.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Hopefully they say, oh, hey, this is coming out Thursday, Friday, whatever. Like, you know what I
Because it
mean?
is mentioned
And
as a
then
hot fix, and normally that means that
exactly.
they're just trying to push it out without
They're
having
just,
to worry about a big old update.
right, and they're trying to make sure too that it's not going to break other systems in the game. So basically, it's going through testing right now, and hopefully they
And
can get it
I can
ready to
appreciate that. I
release.
can definitely
Yep.
appreciate that. I think Umbra put in the chat how to pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's Rakshasa because it's missing the C in the ROK, but
Okay.
Rakshasa, I believe is how it's
Rakshasa.
pronounced.
Okay, makes sense.
Rakshasa.
Very good. Rakshasa. Very good.
See,
Thank you for that.
our pod, we learn shit in our pod. I love this, man.
Yeah,
Every
man.
day learn something new, man. This is amazing shit.
So yeah, so that's what
So
so
chat,
that's good
continue the
news.
chat if you want, or the topic if you want in the chat. Let us know what you think about these updates and even the TV series. You know, I'm enjoying it, loving it. But that's for the Halo topic. What do we got next? What do we got next?
We got some news possibly on a state of play coming in June. Coincidental? I think not, but hey, man, we'll take some news.
Out as a gamer, the more games from any company get shown off, the more excited I am. If they are going to do a state of play, PlayStation we're talking about, if they're going to do a state of play, I'm 100% for it, because then all we need is Nintendo to come in here and say we're doing a whatever they're doing for June, and now we'll have the summer showcase, we'll have the Xbox Bethesda showcase. If this happens, the PlayStation showcase, and hopefully Nintendo comes out and says we're doing one too, and that'd be a Nintendo showcase, completing our E3 circle, at least my E3 circle.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, ooh.
I mean, here's like some of the information that I'm drawn to, obviously, for Modern Warfare. Like, they're trying to tie a date down for June 9th. It is June, because I've seen things circulating right now as far as Modern Warfare is
What
concerned.
did I say last week? What did I say last week?
Because they still have marketing. Because they still have marketing rights. It could potentially be through a state of play, right?
Exactly. This is why I was like, because there's also rumors. I think Tom Henderson is the one that's been saying that Modern Warfare 2, there's going to be an early like teaser review, like how they do a teaser first and then say June something, tune in for the full review.
Yep.
I believe that's going to happen in the beginning of the month, a la Tom Henderson. And then if this happens, obviously because of the market rights, MW2 will be full blown on this show. And this is why I'm rooting for this to happen to be true. I want to see a Modern Warfare 2.
I'm down for it. Maybe we get a hard date on Ragnarok. I don't think we're getting anything on Wolverine. I'll be honest with you. I don't even think we're going to get early.
Wolverine, I don't think so. That's
you might even see some Spider-Man. Maybe. I mean, even though that could be early too. But
I see Spider-Man more than I do Wolverine, though.
That's what I think. I think it's more likely that you could see something early from Spider-Man 2. Versus seeing anything.
I don't
from
think
Wolverine.
They'll skip Spider-Man 2 to show us Wolverine, like to work on Wolverine first and then jump on. I think they'll go to Spider-Man.
I mean, I think they're working on. I think they're working on them at the same time,
collectively
right now. Yeah, you know what I mean. I just don't know if they're far enough in the Wolverine development to have anything to share from that besides what we saw the CGI trailer back, and that was what. When did we even see that? That was last year, right?
Last year's E3 or whatever, not E3, whatever.
I mean, but then again, you never know. So I don't want to put it past them, but I'm personally not expecting to see anything. But that would be a nice surprise.
Honestly, if they do a state of play, I want to see two things. If they decide,
I want to see God. I want to see God of War. I want to see more God of War.
I want to see God of War Ragnarok. I want to see that. And I also want to see a Modern Warfare 2 reveal. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'm down for
the market rights. I'm down for those two right there. God of War, Ragnarok. Oh my God, I can't wait. That's going to be amazing. But hopefully it's true, man. The whole PlayStation state of play, hopefully it's true. I mean, it's rumors at this point, but it'd be nice, man. I have a June packed with just shows.
No, because then it would be like, because then you're going back into the same, like, oh, this kind of feels like, even though we don't have E3. Oh, this kind of feels like E3. Even when we have it, it's like you can still get that feeling of it. You know what I mean?
What they want. Like we said this before, where it's like them doing their own thing. It's a lot more control over what they can show, a lot less time constraint. Like you don't have to worry about E3 telling you in your ear, hey.
Right, you're not answering to, wait, we only have this hall rented for X amount of time or whatever like that. It's just, no, we're going to show whatever we have that's ready to be shown. So yeah, absolutely, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it comes out that they are going to do a state of play, and if it does, I want those two games right there to be shown and show us. I'm sure they're probably going to show us Hogwarts as well if that was the case, because Hogwarts, that's this year. So.
Even though we got a lot of that when they did that state of play. We did get a lot of.
But they just uploaded a new video for it. Well, I don't know if it was a new video, but they did come out with new information on
new information about it, right? Yeah.
There's new information out there, but as far as gameplay video, it's the same one we watched a couple of months ago.
Gotcha.
Which was beautiful. I mean, it's a multi-platform game, so it looks like Sony does or PlayStation has marketing for it.
Marketing for it, yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. State of play.
Yeah, man. So that's cool. So interested to see what they do with that.
All right.
I
Here we
listen. Yeah. How do? Hold on. I'm not even gonna put the topic up yet. I'll do it like. Hold
If you
on.
guys thought that we were not going to talk about
Oh,
this one,
no, I mean, of course we were gonna talk about it.
we're
Just
going to
I'm
talk
just
about
deciding which one I'm gonna show for. Okay, I'll show this first. All right, we'll just do this.
it. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, everybody that's in here for the live stream, just F's in the chat real quick. And just
F in the chat. Listen, I know some of us are tired of hearing this topic.
I
We
mean,
don't come
really,
on to
are we
Sunday.
tired? Are we tired of hearing this topic?
Some of us are. Some of us are.
I don't.
We come on Sunday, so I'm only grateful that we've had this dropped on a Monday, Tuesday.
I've seen a lot of takes. I've saw a lot of people
Right.
on both sides of the. I mean, you get your classic bullshit. You get your classic console war shit. You get some people that act like that might have act like. Remember, because now this is kind of where you see where people kind of truly are, as far as like everybody was touting this game as being the
Wait,
savior.
what?
Everybody was touting this game as being the savior, and then all of a sudden it's getting pushed back, and then they're like, nah, it's all right, don't worry, we got XYZ game coming out anyway, which I agree with as well too. But this was the blockbuster. This was the
The
one,
big news
even
for
more
the
so
week.
than Redfall. This was the one.
Right, because more so, even though Redfall is part of the delay, everybody was mostly speaking about Starfield and being upset about
Yeah.
the Starfield side. Again, I'm glad that Sunday, I'm grateful that Sunday is when our show, our podcast happens, because it gave me a whole week of seeing other people on their podcast, how they perceived it, how they talking about it, how upset or not upset they were.
Yep.
It allowed me to see people on Twitter with their takes, whether it be the console war side of things for the fodder, whether it be a legit concern about, like I was waiting for this game. I seen it all. I even seen people talk about how like it's mismanagement and how on and on and on and on.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Listen, people calling for other people's heads. How do you manage a division like that? Shame on you. My only and I guess I could start here with this. You shouldn't have given us, and this is what I tweeted out. I publicly stated, I said this here. You shouldn't have tweeted out or announced a hard date for this game. I'm sorry.
I agree.
For as big as this game's gonna be, and what you're trying to deliver us, and even with the marketing that they already started giving. Remember, we're on record here on our podcast saying, oh, they're starting to give us, Starfield vlogs and stuff, and this is looking cool. So the marketing machine's going. Here we go.
Starfield Day, June 12th. Starfield Day, June 12th.
I mean,
they might still show us.
Well, no, but listen, that's another thing too. But here's what I mean. Like, so you give a hard date, 11/11, 2022, and you want to, and it's like that's cool and stuff like that. And you doing on Todd Howard doing his thing and all of that. But then it's like, and it's unfortunate that you can't commit to that. But I wish you would have never said fucking dick in the first place. Like, I wish you would have just. It comes out when it fucking comes out. Like, because that's what you kind of, you know what I mean.
Unfortunately, gaming community, we've been burned way too many times with hard dates. Especially in the last few years, not just this generation, but even last generation.
There's a lot of games, but this isn't the first game to miss a hard date. Like, you know
what I
mean?
It's not. Here's okay. I'm gonna let you finish your because I have my own.
Well, yeah. Well, so my thing is like I really wish you didn't give a hard date, but I'm also of the camp. Take your fucking time, man, because a game like this, and I've seen what it takes 4 to 5, 6 years to make a game. That's cool. So however long this game was in development for or whatever, then yeah, take as long as you want to make sure that the game that we get isn't going to be like, I don't want to see fucking bugs from Fallout 4 in this game. Like, that's my take on it. Like, you bet if you can't put it out this year, then I'm telling you, if I'm getting the same type of fucking bugs I got in Fallout 4, we got a problem. Like, if I'm just getting Bethesda just again over and over, and I don't think we should, because of the engines that they're working with stuff. This should be a next generation game, a next generation feeling of a game. I'm expecting them to improve I'm expecting them to learn from their other IPs and to give us some solid shit to learn and take all that information, what they did in games like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, and be like, bam, here's this really nice, fresh experience. But we know what we're doing here with all of these different gameplay aspects and stuff, but it's not going to be as buggy as it is. Like, I'm expecting there to be some type of bugs and things like that, but not like crazy duplication. But like, you know what I mean?
Game breaking kind of like the shit that
man,
that doesn't let you play the game or enjoy the game at all.
That's what I'm saying. So
take that has bugs that
dude, take your time. I'm down for it. That's all I'm saying. And I wish you just never said anything in the first place. I wish you just said, said, it comes when it comes. And if we got more, like if they would have just came out in June and said, okay, it's coming next year, whatever. But the fact that they announced this already so long, I mean, they announced this last E3 or whatever it was that they gave us the date, wasn't it? When they, because
it was
Bethesda,
it was
that's
last
what I
year.
mean.
It was last year. 11,
So we
11
got this. So it's, yeah, it just
Solid
it's
date. I think
unfortunate.
it was the showcase from last year.
That's my only thing on it. So go ahead. So that's my thing.
Looks like Infinite Umbra is agreeing with you on that. Good stuff. Shinrock is agreeing.
It's not a dramatic take. It's just I think
it's not.
Just don't give me the shit that you've been giving us for. I mean, not to say that Fallout 4 was shit or that Elder Scrolls 5, but it's not. Skyrim wasn't shit. Like
New Vegas.
No, what that wasn't even them. That was Obsidian,
that
technically.
Was yeah.
But even just from their own track record and stuff like that, like I mean, the games have always gotten better. I mean, people are still playing fucking Skyrim now because of how good of a game it is and because of mods and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that the things, the way the systems are set up in these games, duplication and stuff like that, and way you could abuse, I don't want to see a lot of that in this new game. I want to see them hopefully upgrade and move forward from that stuff, especially if you're going to delay the fucking game. I better, like, you know what I mean? That's another thing, too. It's like you're to push it back. We're probably not getting this game until, like, at least, like, second quarter next year, if I had to assume, but that's my take on it.
First half, they said?
At least. But, I mean, you never know. So, but yeah.
You never know. All right. I agree with a lot of what you said. I agree. My take would be more on the just dissecting what I saw throughout the week, and then how I feel about the this delay and that stuff. First, I'll say, as far as the delay goes, I was very disappointed because they sold it hard on 11/11/22. Very disappointed. So I agree with you on that. The fact that they said it's playable. It's just polishing. That's what we're doing. We're polishing it right now. We're doing all the finishing works to this game, and then essentially the marketing did kind of begin with it, with the vlogs they were doing, showing off the audio side of things, showing off the video side of things, and even mentioning things like spacecraft and all that would be an element, part of the game. And I got upset on that aspect of it, but then I quickly had to withdraw from any other extended feelings about this. And what I mean by that is, at the end of the day, I still don't know what Starfield was. I still don't know what Starfield was. Am I upset? Am I upset that Starfield got delayed? Of course, very upset, because the way they market it, I was looking forward to it. They really said, this is it. It's solid date. The way he came out, Todd, and was like, it's solid date. And we all know his history, that he doesn't announce dates unless it's not ready to go. That's his thing.
That's his MO.
Yeah. That's his MO. At the end of the day, I still don't know what Starfield or even Redfall was. I don't know what it was. So that's how I quickly, yes, I was upset, but I grounded in my thoughts, saying, you know what, I don't know what Starfield was anyway. So let's, maybe they had something else planned. I don't know. Something could be happening there, as far as they might have found the bug or whatever the case may be. And let's not forget that Bethesda is now going back to their office. So they just got together, Phil and them, Aaron and them, went out there, they took pictures, put it on Twitter. So they now go into the office. I would almost assume or bet that visit, when they saw the game, they was like, nah, we're not doing this. We're not. Let's also not forget that we just had the Cyberpunk debacle, right?
Right.
Yes, it's a third-party game. Yes, it's multi-platform and all that snag. I get that. But a lot of us in the community, and I've seen these tweets from a lot of people that had a different, like a angry take on it, were tweeting out, this is why you should delay a game. It should have been delayed another year. I'd rather quality over whatever you want to bring out for marketing and money, that side of things. Heck, I've even seen people tweet the what's his name? I forgot the Japanese guy, where he says people will forget, like people will not talk about the game if it comes out buggy. And I'm loosely translating it, but there's a whole quote thing that people put out there when it comes to quality of a game. We have a right to be angry and upset when it comes to games being delayed, and you could voice that. What I have a problem with is going beyond that means of being upset because a game got delayed to the point where you're calling out mismanagement. Unless you've ran a multi-trillion-dollar company, don't speak on that. Do not speak on that. You don't know what they're going through on that side of things. So if you're angry about it being delayed because you was expecting it, I get that. But when you go beyond those means and now start calling mismanagement and heads got to roll and nobody should be, Phil should be fired and this person should not do this, that's when it gets a little bit to the extreme side of things, because you're not no longer talking as a gamer. Now you're talking from a point of your anger that shouldn't even be expressed that way. Like, you need to stop at that point, maybe type it out and read before you say what you're about to say, before you say it. I get Twitter has no filter in that sense, but that's what I started seeing. And then I started seeing things like, you know, as far as the mismanagement, like, oh, and then Game Pass is going to crash. And because this, now Game Pass numbers will go down.
Yeah, as if there's not like another 350 plus titles on there, and still more titles coming that haven't even been announced yet. That's another thing too. In June, besides, I mean, and not to just jump in, but just real quick, like in June, you understand the games that are going to be announced, probably whether they be third party or first party games that they still have coming down there that we probably don't even know about. That's another thing. It's like, and I don't want to fall back on that. Like I said, like to your point, this is a fuck up. Still, it's because you gave it a hard date.
And I will not go to the that. I know a lot of people are saying this. Well, it's been delayed. Just play your backlog. No, fuck that. I'm not. Don't do that.
I mean, it's kind of true though. No,
it's true, but that's like, you know,
it's like bailing it out though, right? It's like you're bailing them out. It's like that wasn't the intention anyway. No, I want to play this. November 11th, I didn't want anybody fucking talking to me. I like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to have this shit pre-downloaded, pre-installed, and I wanted to be talking about it that following Sunday. Like, you know what I mean?
Before I lose track of my thought here. So yeah. It's one of, okay, so Game Pass gonna crash. The numbers are it's gonna go down. People are not gonna subscribe. I said this on my Twitter this past week. People got to know what Game Pass is first and foremost. And I say this like this: there's gamer people in my life, as far as family and friends, not the ones that know me through a podcast, through Twitter, and how active I am in the community. Not you guys in our group chat. I'm talking about friends and families that game that are not part of this in your know kind of window kind of thing, right? When I saw that these games got delayed, initial reaction like anybody else is get to my phone, and I'm gonna start texting people going, yo, did you hear about this news? There's about 12 of friends and family members that I know that I tweeted out, that I text to and let them know, hey, man, this game got delayed. Can you guess what the response I got when I said Starfield and Redfall got delayed? From these 12 individuals.
I wouldn't know.
What is Starfield?
Oh, well.
What is Redfall?
But are these people in the know though? Like, do they follow
These are
actively?
People who are not on Twitter actively, who are not going through podcasts looking at people's takes, who are not. These are casuals, which makes up the market, right? The gaming market are made up by casuals. We want to think that. But what I'm trying to say is when you say things like Game Pass is going to go down, first and foremost, you got to explain to these kind of that part of the consumer side of things, what is Game Pass? And then talk about Starfield. Again, I don't know what Starfield was. I was upset for the delay initially and then realized I don't even know what Starfield is. You had way too many takes on this thing where it was like, let's burn it down. Game Pass going down. Mismanagement. Fire this guy. It's like it went to that crazy aspect. And I'm going, holy shit. Like, is anybody reading what they're writing before they tweet it, before they talk about it, before they talk about it in their pocket? Like, it was just an emotional thing, which I get.
A lot of emotional response. Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
It was a lot. And I get if you pay $500 for a system and you were sold on Game Pass having day and date, first party titles, you upset for that. That's totally valid. I'm upset for that. It's valid. I got Game Pass because of day and date. That's valid.
But this goes back to
like there's no other games coming out there on Game Pass that are either third party and first party, which is day and date.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that this is not it's not like Xbox has hit us with a slew of first party titles recently, and then now they just delaying this, and we're like, oh fuck, I was waiting for this game all along. What game? You don't know what it looks like. It's okay to be upset to be delayed. It's okay, but stop with this extra stuff. Like, the extra stuff is weird. It's like you're calling for people's jobs. You're saying mismanagement. Unless you ran a $1 trillion company, let me know. But I don't think any of us in this chat has, or anyone in this community that's had that opinion. As far as Game Pass going down, that was weird, bro. Like, literally go out to your local Walmart, Target, or anywhere else that sells video games at this point in time and just talk to somebody about Game Pass and tell me if they're going to be like, oh yeah, Game Pass, it has over 100 games, day and date, first party, Starfield, all that stuff. Like, tell me if they're going to have that conversation with you and hold that conversation with you. They're not.
Yeah.
Because we get stuck in this Twitterverse, this Twitter sphere, and the social stuff, and
I agree.
We just think that's the majority of things. It's not.
Well, and for as big as Twitter, is,
shit.
Yeah. And for as big as it is how small, because you get wrapped up in the same conversation with similar people, because that's another thing. You tend to find people that have share similar interests of you, or the very opposite. And then you want to go back and forth with them, like, because a lot of people, and I've seen it on both ends of the spectrum. People are coming out, like trying to defend, like, no, they need to do this. This is good on them, which is true. It's all true, but you don't have to. Nobody has to fall down and throw their body on the sword. You know what I mean? And you're not
way too many times.
It's like everybody going, like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You don't have to go and defend it. But to that effect too, and maybe this is a lesson to some people. The ammo that you think you have. When you talk about, oh, look, we got Starfield coming out. When you want to go and try to compare, compare IPs. And that whole console war fodder and the canon, and when you want to do that, like, maybe you'll think before.
And a lot of people got caught up in that shit, and their emotions came from that side of it. It came from, now I'm gonna get joked on by that side of the community, and the L, and I don't want to wear the L, and I look silly, so I don't want to admit it. Look, I'll flip it on the other side of that coin too. As far as people telling others you shouldn't be mad about it, it's okay. Don't get so upset. Stop that too. Everybody has a right to their feelings and the way they feel about these delays. Everybody took it differently. There are people out there who literally got Game Pass for Starfield. There's people out there that subscribe to fucking Game Pass because of Starfield. I know 2 of them personally.
Yeah.
And they've canceled Game Pass because now Starfield's delayed. I don't need Game Pass anymore.
Yeah.
Even though I've explained to these guys, hey, dude, there's other shit on there, like MLB The Show and everything just coming out. Like, there's going to be shows. And plus, June 12th is coming along. They might surprise us. They might drop some gems on that shit. We don't know. So, I'm good. Starfield was for me. Oh, okay. So, I see that. But everybody's validated in opinions. I just have a problem with the overboard stuff. Like, the flaming of everything, the mismanagement. Like I said, mismanagement, Game Pass going down. And
you saw what Phil said, right? You saw this. What I have up.
Let me read this. These decisions are hard on teams making the games the games and our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback. Delivering quality and consistency is expected. We will continue to work to better meet those expectations. Let's not forget the Cyberpunk debacle.
Yeah.
A lot of us said they should have delayed that game for another year. Same thing with Halo. Even though I thought it was good, a lot of people spoke on that quality. They said, no, we want more, we want better. And they delayed it for another year.
Yep.
Right? So apart from the marketing, the hard marketing of that date, why are we upset further from that? Like, why are we calling for mismanagement heads? I get it. There's a theme going on. Oh, they can't get games out. I get all that. But again, if you did not run a multi-trillion-dollar company, don't speak on that lane. That is not your lane.
I mean, also be happy that we're getting this in May, right? Or like this tweet came out May 12th, right? Be happy that we're getting this information now and not in September. Like, imagine it's September. Imagine it's 2 fucking months before this game comes out, and they're like, "Oh shit, by the way, guys, Starfield's not going to be ready." Like, you're pissed. You're fucking. I'm right, Matt. You're fucking pissed. Like, I'm pissed now, but I'm not as pissed because now I get to properly set my expectations. Well, at least I know in November I won't be playing.
They might show us June 12th. They might show us gameplay. We don't know.
But not even that. I know
June
what comes
12th might be a blowout. We don't know.
I know what comes out in November already, though, if I'm thinking in my mind. I know I'm getting a Call of Duty this year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm getting certain things that I'm going to be able to occupy my mind. So in my mind, I'm already thinking, like, all right, I could already account for this, like, not being here. And then it's not a complete battle of where do I spend my time when I want to play a game? What game's getting what time? You know what I mean? So that's the glass half full. Part of it that I can at least attest to, and like you said, and other games on fucking Game Pass, because once again, that library is only going to get bigger and bigger. Yes, it's unfortunate that a triple A
closes, but wait till Activision closes now.
Like,
people forget the Bethesda deal just closed last year. It just closed last year. I get that. It's like and as much as people hate hearing this shit, the pandemic affected for 2 years a development on any game. And then I'm hearing this argument about, but other studios, they put out games even with the same pandemic. Well, they're not Microsoft.
Yeah,
They're
not
not Microsoft.
Bethesda. They're not Bethesda.
They're not Bethesda.
Not
They're
every
not
studio
Sony
works to the.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
They're
it works
different.
how they work.
They work to their own quality. I would admit this though. We've said this before in our pods in the past. But I think they need a head of quality and assurance. Somebody who can check on these teams, not Phil, because obviously he has his plate full, but somebody whose main job is to check on each of these teams and see where the quality lies.
Well, like you said, they all got together, and you're probably right. This was shown, and somebody raised their hand in an office somewhere after this was shown, after they took that picture and said, "Oh, by the way, what you just saw, like that was cool." Or somebody went up to them and said, Todd went up to Phil and said, "Oh, I know we just showed you that, and this would be cool to show at E3, but also there's a stipulation: the rest of the fucking game can't come out in November." Like, that's more than likely how and it once again. At least there was some sort of like conversation that happened, because everybody could have kept their fucking mouth shut, and we could be getting this news a lot sooner to that hard date. And that's the only thing that, yes, you want to hype up a crowd, and you want to hype up your consumers, you want to hype up your fan base and stuff. But when you give such a hard date, then like you said, you better be at the final fucking mile. You got to be on the final stretch. And like you said, it was reported.
I'm very upset about.
Yeah. That's the only problem that I see with that.
The last thing I will say is a lot of us has been yelling to our top of our lungs. Crunch time. It's bad. It's the worst. Stop giving these guys crunch time. Give them more time to develop the game. We shouldn't have these guys working hours and hours and hours, to get a game out. Crunch time. This happens, and now we're like, this is it. When Phil said we're listening to the feedback, he meant that. He meant the quality of the game. It has to be. He's hearing the Xbox community and going, we need to knock shit out the park this generation.
Yep.
The games that are first party that are coming out of Xbox has to knock it out the park. He saw something that did not knock it out the park and said, this is delayed. I don't want this out there just yet. And he probably saw the crunch time to remember now they're working. This game was being developed, like a good portion of it at home.
Right.
That they finally came back to the studio. This is not 2 or 3 employees, man. This is like hundreds of employees working on a game spread across different houses and working in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
With the kids and the wife and the husbands and the family members and parties and get-togethers, all that shit happening while they're trying to get this.
And then you gotta make a AAA game as an artist, as a coder, as a gameplay designer.
Game.
Yeah.
And not only that, deliver on the promises, because now your company just got bought out by Microsoft, Xbox.
Yeah.
So now you got, not only are you delivering on a AAA title expectation, but now the quality side of things. Because let's be honest here, your competition has been pumping out fucking games after games of quality.
And your games have been multi-plat up until this point now, and now you're a first-party studio by all intents and purpose. Like, you basically became a first-party studio right now, and now you have to make sure that what you're putting out, is of that quality and of that nature. So yeah, man. I mean, like I said, yeah, I kind of already explained how I feel about it. It's unfortunate, but it's like I'm just looking forward to see.
To me again, I don't know if you send.
He DM'd to me. Yeah, it was it was some information on Mass Effect actually.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's where I'm at. Like my whole thing is, like anybody else that was waiting for this game and all the hard beats, I was disappointed, very mad. I was just more upset that we allow these opinions of how to run a company and Game Pass being, it's gonna lose out on people. And a lot of it, I would say this, a lot of that feeling came from the fanboy perspective, like the whole console war bullshit. And I hate when every time, not just with Starfield, when I see fodder being used with a game, like, oh, this is gonna be the game that's gonna beat this game, and then the moment there's something that happens to the game, now we're calling. Now we gotta pretend that we hate it too. Like, we hate it more than just. We're not just disappointed. We gotta hate on it even more and say mismanagement and Game Pass.
Yep.
And fuck crunch. I want the game now. Like, it's like, bro, like, are you mad because it got delayed and you was really looking forward to this? Or are you mad because you were part of that console war fodder and now you gotta backtrack that shit and act like we call our shit out over here too? What is it? Like, it's weird. It's just a weird energy to see, But yes, hopefully June 12th. which I'm still excited for. I don't know if anybody else is, but the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, still excited for it. I'm sure they got nuggets in it. They're going to drop. It's going to be exciting.
And I know we kind of blew over Redfall a little bit, but that's another thing where it's like I didn't really expect them to have anything. I mean, they didn't even give us a date back. No. I mean, they did say 2022, and
summer,
they did technically summer 2022.
Here we are, a month away from summer.
That's not a hard date. So it's like at least you had there where they could be like, oh, hey, this isn't ready.
That's why that game when they snuck it in there when it was Starfield Redfall delayed.
Yeah,
the focus was more on Starfield.
Absolutely,
rightfully so,
because we had the hard date
was on that.
Yeah,
not on Redfall. Like I've seen people go, well, if you guys are not really mad because Redfall got delayed too, and I don't see nothing on that because Redfall had no videos on it. Redfall had no promotion.
You had the CG trailer, and then once again, still it's like a game that you really didn't know what the fuck was going on with it. You kind of don't know.
Vampire. That's all we know.
Vampires, shooting element. It's 4 players. It looks like there's 4 players. I don't know though.
Let's see. I love Umbra's. I was watching it in a couple of pods. So I like his take. They're just, to me, they're sound. So let me read this.
Yeah.
For me, I'm upset at the delay. Let me put this up on the screen.
I did. Yeah. I got it.
For me, I'm upset the delay, though I know it's ultimately good for the games. But more than that is the lack of first party titles for 2022 thus far. On top of that, I get that. I respect that.
If you're into that, like if that's your thing, if you're only looking for first party titles. Like me, like I want Halo to be updated because that's my first party title that I wish just continuously gets updated so that I don't have to worry about anything else. They got everything else after that becomes the cherry on top.
I'll ask you a question since you brought up Halo. I'll ask you this. If Halo were to have the content we want in Halo, like literally content,
I wouldn't give a fuck about this. I'm sorry. That's me personally. Because I'm also I'm a multiplayer person anyway. First, single player in games that I'll play by myself or whatever comes second to me gaming with other people. If Halo popped off and if Halo was what it could have been at launch and even now, like, you know what I mean? If it was where it's going to be, because it's going to get to that point when it's like just Forge mode, maps, and everything. But if it was like that from rip, I wouldn't give it. I'd be upset still, but I still wouldn't give a shit because I'm down for just solid multiplayer games that I can play with that's the type of player I am. If you are a single player game and you look for games like that, like if Umber was to be like, nah, listen, I look forward to like, first party, AAA titles like that, then yeah, I could definitely understand why this would fuck you up and this would make you feel a certain way. 100%.
Absolutely 100%.
Yep.
The only thing I would say to that is like, and this is kind of gloomy, but when it comes to Xbox, we're kind of used to first party titles either be delayed or not come out at all, right? So it's one of those things was like, again, they didn't show it off. No Starfield was shown off. And if you're waiting for first party titles and that's all you're playing, I get it. Luckily we have Game Pass to even not even let us fucking like stay in those feelings, I guess, like those emotions, because as fast as I was like, fuck, they delayed the game, is as fast as I was already finding myself playing a game in Game Pass. Yeah. I was already there and totally forgot that Starfield was delayed. Like, not even forget it, but it's one of those things.
I know
what
you mean.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's like I gotta talk about this. You're right. I gotta talk about this on the pod, but it's like, yeah.
It quickly burnt out to that. So,
but we've been of the multiplayer type, but there are people that are heavily invested in single player experience and stuff like that, like
role playing RPGs and MMOs.
Yeah. I'm more of the multiplayer type of player where I enjoy my gaming enjoyment comes a lot more. It's not that I can't enjoy single player games, just I enjoy gaming a lot more when I game with my friends. When I game with people that I know, or just when I just play multiplayer games, that's the excitement and the joy that I get out of gaming personally. That competition factor or that competing factor of it, I enjoy that a lot. That versus kind of stuff, or even like of the Destiny point, even if it's PvE shit, that's still Borderlands being multiplayer, Destiny multiplayer like that with being able to play with your friends and stuff. I enjoy that type of stuff. So
that one, the zombie game that came out recently from
Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood. There you
go. Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like I
by the way,
that type of
Evil Dead is out. I don't know if anybody is playing Evil Dead, but I'm looking to pick that up soon. It looks like it's fun. I don't know. I may or may not pick it up because I hate to be this guy. I told you this before we're live. I hate to be this guy, but it just seems like a title that'll come on Game Pass. Not that there's a problem with that. Like I might just pick it up before then, but it just seems like I don't know. I guess Xbox has conditioned me now with the Game Pass to go.
I might have to wait on that.
I might have to wait on that. That might be on Game Pass soon. So I hate to play like that, but honestly, that's how Game Pass is meant to be used, anyways, right?
But because imagine you kicking yourself if 6 months down the road, which has happened now with a lot of games. Like seriously, like, for me, it was legendary. It was the legendary edition, which I knew that EA was doing that. Same thing with Battlefield. Same reason why I won't technically purchase Battlefield right now, because I know, and hopefully in a couple of weeks, it's going to be on Game Pass thanks to EA Play. So I'm just gonna chill and wait until
6 months now since it's launched. So that's the sweet spot when they start dropping. EA starts dropping their games on their stuff and on Game Pass. Like they'll start dropping.
So that's the thing that like you.
I think they're waiting for the update to come out. I think they're waiting for that update.
That last update,
season 2, whatever that is.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Now on Game Pass.
Yeah, let's spike up the player base for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's all I got on Redfall and
that's
Redfall
it, man. I just I mean, I think that went pretty well. There was no weirdness there, but chat said what they had to say. Obviously, we are all Xbox gamers at the end of the day, and we are all upset in our own ways for this delay. But that just means it's going to be a better product, man. It's going to be a better product next year, whether it be the first half, later in the half, or whatever. I honestly think there's going to be another delay. Well, yeah, I think they're going to delay it to later.
I think it is coming out next year, but I'm not going to stick to any type of date. I hope that
but they said the first half. I don't think it'll come out for the first half. I think they'll delay it again to say later on it'll be next year holidays game or something like that. I think that's my opinion. I don't because they didn't this time. They didn't even stick with a hard date. It was like, yo, first half next year. ... So it's like we don't know what's going on there. So let's see what happens. But yeah, that's and we got through that pretty well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Chat didn't crucify us on that one. Pretty cool. Yobi says Logic definitely itching to get back into Andromeda. Yep, that's the Mass Effect. Gotta finish that legendary playthrough. So excited. Yeah, Yobi.
Yeah, no, I mean, I listen. I played through the original trilogy. I love Mass Effect series. I love it. Definitely. And
something nobody can push you on. If somebody was to come to me and goes, "Yo, Logic's not a Mass Effect fan," I call bullshit.
Nah, so that's why. So that legendary edition, I definitely, like I said, I just reinstalled it. I got to finish 3, and then even Andromeda, I try to walk back through because I never got through Andromeda, and I never played it.
Not
really
a bad
fully
game.
Through.
It's not a bad game.
It's not, but it was hard for me to look past what it was. It departed a lot from what I was used to with Mass Effect, and it wasn't a good way. Mass Effect
world,
yeah.
It's hard to depart from Shepard to this and that whole story. Like it's hard, but if you excuse me. If you play
that's like game, shit. That's literally shit. When Shipwreck said right there, can't make it past the first hour, and that's my thing, man. It was tough for me to go after that. After you drop, I mean, I played definitely more than an hour, but still, it was what I still to this day I never
cannot get past that first hour. Like it's not a bad game. I'm just stuck with the whole coming off of the Mass Effect trilogy. This is what we get. And I get it. It was not the same team that did the trilogy.
No,
I get
that was definitely a bait and switch on their behalf.
Big
it was BioWare, but it wasn't that BioWare.
It was the Team B. Wait, no, Team C. Maybe D.
Maybe D. Yeah.
I don't know. It could have been. I think it was the guy we got off the corner, but he said he had experience, so we
brought him in. But we brought him in because we needed the help.
But I've been told if you play that game, not in like if let's say you came into the Mass Effect world and this is your first game, you would enjoy it.
Right, exactly. But I have to purge. I have to purge the trilogy from my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I have to be in that mind state of just forgetting about it. No, I don't want to do that either.
One, if not the best sci-fi trilogy in gaming history.
Like, I'd agree with that. Yeah. But from a storytelling perspective, it's hard to. It was, and then just the fact that the game synced between what I did in 1 affected 2, affected 3, especially what I did in 2. Like just that, like I
just didn't like the ending, the way they made it go through all that.
Exactly. Say what you will about how they try to finish it off or whatever, but it's like, how do you finish off a game like that when you're fighting what you were fighting and all of that stuff? But I agree with you.
I remember the backlash they got in the whole. We're gonna update it and we're gonna make it more of this. It's like I remember the backlash. Like it was crazy. A lot of people was like, "Wait, you made us go through all of that, people dying and the choices we had to make, and this is the endings." It's blah. It's like it was nothing. There was no difference between what you chose. You know, whether it was Paragon or it's like it was just like no difference. Like we're getting the same shit, just one scene has changed or whatever it was. Yeah, man. See how we jumped into a Mass Effect conversation.
No, that's good.
Not even one of our topics. Yobi, good shit, yo.
That's good. So we have the next thing going on right now. This was actually some cool news for anybody that's a part of Alpha Skip. If you
Oh
are an
yeah.
Xbox
I
Insider.
saw this. I
Yeah,
haven't
this
tried
is
it
pretty
yet. I'm on
cool.
Alpha Skip and I haven't tried it yet. But if you're an Alpha Insider, you are able to test out. I believe it's live now for the Alpha Insiders. You're able to test out this new feature they're going to implement in the party chat. It's like a sound suppression. I think I have an already. You have it? Okay.
It's noise suppression. It's basically the feature appears to be taking a cue from Discord's Chris. So we were just talking about that audio filters along with NVIDIA's underrated broadcast tech. So basically, what it does is that it detects like the microphone will basically suppress ambient noise around you and only pick up when you're speaking. So like it could be other things, like it'll only detect your voice. So like if you have food, I mean, me sometimes like I get a bag of chips, I'm sitting down and I'm eating my chips, and it's like, you know what I mean. And on and over the Xbox service, like you're hearing that shit. When I'm on
Yep.
Discord, you don't hear. I could be eating a
No.
3-course meal and you never fucking know. Like, and
Now,
I got
and
the
also
camera on.
the background noise and like dogs barking and like just
Yes,
family in the background doing their thing because they don't
yes.
give a shit about your podcast on a Sunday,
Well,
5 o'clock in the afternoon,
even though they
or
know you've been doing that for a year
at
now.
6:25 in the afternoon. Yeah, I'm talking to you. 6:25 in the afternoon, coming in, barging in, saying, "Hey, what do you want to eat?" Pork chops and rice sound good. Okay.
Oh my god.
But yeah, but this new feature, I haven't tried it yet. I'm gonna try it out. But it's just like what you mentioned with Discord. It's called this crisp audio filters.
Yeah, it says it right here.
It's a noise suppression, so it's gonna be pretty. I want to try it out
So they
because
say here, so we've enabled a new feature which will process your microphone input through a noise suppression step to help produce cleaner audio in your party chat session. They wrote on the Xbox blog. The setting is enabled by default, but can be toggled from the drop-down options too. Because that's another thing too. I think this is, remember, if you're in Alpha Skip, you're basically a beta tester. So don't expect this to work like good out the rip. It can be good, and I think it's
I
probably
think
probably will
Shinrock
be
is
good.
saying it works. I'm assuming he's talking about what we're talking about, but he's saying it works.
Yeah. So there you go.
Shinrock, are you testing it now?
Yeah,
And
it
let us
probably.
know in the chat. How do you feel about it? Is it good, bad? Like, what do you immediately what you have experienced when you tried it? So that's what I want to know. Because apparently, even though it's not a huge feature, it's big enough for them to mention it.
No,
You know what
I
I mean?
mean,
So
I think that's definitely it's a quality of life for sure. It's definitely a quality of life
definitely quality
update.
of life.
Yeah,
Definitely quality of life.
'cause
I agree
fucking
with
money.
that.
You hear money get into a party chat and hear money. But literally, it's like, yo, money. What you get to eat? You got potato. You got potato chip. Yeah, crunching fucking away. Damn it.
I forgot who I was at a party chat with. It was 100 and them. I was in a party chat this past week with shout out to 100. I know he watches the
Word.
show. I was in a party chat with him and his boys, and it was like for like a good 30 minutes or whatever. But I forgot who it was in that party chat. Where all you heard was crunch, 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 like loud.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
saying, going, I'm a guest to this party chat, but I ain't got no qualms calling out people on that loudest shit. So I was like, yo, who the fuck that chewing so loud? It was like the bag was crumbling
Yep.
and all that stuff. And 100 goes, I'm glad somebody else has called this shit out. I've done this call out so many times, and they don't ever listen to me. Now that a guest is telling you, and it's like, I don't give a fuck. It gets loud, bro. Like I don't need to hear the bag crumbling and the chips, chewing your chips between every teeth you got. Like I don't want to. I don't need that.
So Shinrock was saying that still needs some work, but it works. So that's pretty good. That's good to hear. But I think there's something that they're definitely going to work on as well. And then Dragon was mentioning Yobi. It was saying he's getting a new headset. Any recommendations?
I have
Well,
these
ahead.
on, which is the Xbox headsets. I've been rocking these since they launched. I one thing I can recommend these because I wear them, but one thing about these that I enjoy, the biggest feature for this that I like, it has nothing to do with sound, and even though it's good sound and everything, it's the fact that on both sides of the cup, I'm able to control on my right side. You probably see it on your left side, but on my right ear cup is the volume, so I'm able to adjust volume on the fly right there. And on the left side, literally, if I go forward, it's the game chat, no, the game volume. So if you're playing a game, you hear that more, and it mutes out the party chat or voice chat. If I go more to the back side of it, it'll be all voice chat, no game volume. If you leave it in the middle, you get a balance of both. So you can play with that on the fly to see what you want more loud, what you want louder, what you want lower. The other stuff I used to have in my life was Steel Series. I believe somebody's talking about that.
Steel Series is solid. Steel Series is solid. The one with the DAC is cool, even though I think that one works a little bit better with
Steel
PlayStation.
Series,
not so much. Yeah,
the one he's talking about, the 9X is good.
Yeah.
I've had that before. Not the 9X, but I've had Steel Series before. And I had the plugged ones. I think Nick said the same thing. He had the plugged ones, and he's looking for a headset himself. But if you're hearing this on replay Mondays, Tuesdays, whatever it is, Nick, It's the still Series 9X what they're talking about in the chat, and I believe that's one of those high quality headsets. I've had Turtle Beaches.
No,
Even early on, I think we all had Turtle Beaches.
I haven't had Turtle Beaches in a while.
Early on, the COD journey we had early on.
Right
we all
now,
kind of had
some of the best,
Beaches.
some of the best wired, like one of the best for consoles, one of the best wired or wireless headset I could probably recommend is the Astro A50s, or even the A40s with the mix amp. That's like, but like if you're willing to drop 270, like 280, like you know what I mean,
that's like,
quality shit.
If you're okay with
dropping with doing that,
straight.
Yeah, but that's Astros as far as comfortability, like longevity, like wearing it, and customization as well too. You customize the cups as well, and then sound quality. You know, Astros are no fucking joke. I use a pair of Razors. No, it's okay.
Oh, Razors, okay.
I use Razors on my, but I am on PC through a DAC as well. So like that's it. I could literally plug in anything. Astro A40s with the mix amp, tournament edition, or I think the A50s are wireless as well too. Yeah, but yeah, definitely look into those.
A50 are wireless, yeah.
Yeah, A50s are the wireless ones. They have the dock as well too. It's really with the receiver as well. I would definitely recommend those.
It all depends on. I would also
what you use it
for.
All
recommendations, Yobi, but I would say this. I would say really like go to like a Best Buy because they have like the demo displays and you could try these things on. I'm sure they have the Astros. I'm sure they have the Arctic. I'm sure they have those, and I'm sure they have something like this up there where you could try them out because depending on your game style is where it really will sell you. Like we can recommend to you all these headsets, they're all good, but depending on your game style, I wouldn't want to just go with just okay, I want to get those because everybody's saying it's good. I would say go ahead and try them out and experience it yourself because some of us may like a lot of bassy shit in our ear, you know, where that's what the headset does and it won't let you lower that down. Like it's just bass. Some of it may be just treble, the high pitch stuff and no bass. And some of it may, offer a mixer where you can balance that shit out, but you may not want all that equipment. You may want something as simple as what I have on, where it's like I can on the fly control it. So I would say go try it out.
And that's my thing too. Just to piggyback,
all of these are good choices.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, if you're looking, the A50s are wireless. Yeah, Dragon. Yeah, you'll be. But A40s, like with the mix amp, like personally, like now being on PC, I'll never use a headset without having a DAC plugged in and stuff. Like same thing. And if I could get that on a console, like wired, like I don't mind that, like I sit on top of my monitor when I game and stuff, so I don't have to worry about sitting back on a couch. Like that's another thing too. If you're sitting away from your TV versus if you're sitting on top of your TV, like you know what I mean, that all plays effect as well. But I would always recommend wired over wireless if you can, for like gaming situations if you're trying to take it serious with sound and shit. But wireless for comfortability and also that like freedom of just not having wires sticking out of your controller and being tied down to something. There's benefits, there's pros and cons to both, of course. But yeah,
man, that's two things we spoke about as not part of our topics, and I love that. That means that the chat is in it, and we're here. I love it. Thank you, guys. Everything that we said is all recommended. They're all good. You can't go wrong with any of them. The other thing I would say is experiences, so you know what you want. Bassy, treble, mixer, both, or whatever it is you want. But it's all ultimately it's yours. Because you're dropping the money, man, and we don't want you to make that wrong choice. So. Oh, get it from Best Buy and get the Geek Squad.
Always get the insurance on it if you get it from Best Buy. If you're getting it from Best Buy, you always get Geek Squad. 2 years guaranteed. Any questions asked. And if they don't have the headset in there, they will give you back the money. I mean, he already knows. He said he goes to Best Buy a lot. But they will literally give you, if you're buying a peripheral from Best Buy, I always recommend buying peripherals from Best Buy. Controllers, you want an Elite controller. If you could find controllers, buy them. Put the insurance on them. Anything goes wrong, you know what fucked up on my Elite controller? Now that I actually have a complaint with my Elite controller. Can I share that real quick? So my Elite controller, the hair trigger. I don't know if I told you this.
I think you touched on it a while ago.
The right hair trigger, the button or the little knob broke. Literally, the plastic.
The switch
to switch the hair trigger, the sensitivity on my right trigger. I don't use it. But like if I wanted to know, I have to stick my fingernail in there to adjust the actual hair trigger. So now,
you shouldn't be doing that. That's crazy.
Well, no, but I have Best Buy insurance, so I will be going down Best Buy and switching out, making sure they have an Elite controller, and I will be switching out my controller.
You're talking about like that right here?
Yeah, literally that little. Yeah, you could see literally that little switch there. Yep, broke, and I was like, I still have the plastic piece here. Now I could probably super glue it back on, but I'm too fucking lazy. I don't care.
The beauty about Best Buy. it shows at Best Buy is that you no questions asked. You go in and switch it
you
out.
go in. I mean, I could show it to them and just be honest and be like, "Yo, whatever." They mean they're gonna send it back, like you said, probably to like
I don't even think they
Microsoft or
give a
whatever.
shit because when I worked at Best Buy, we didn't give a shit. It was like, hey, my controller's like drifting. Okay, cool. Go grab another one.
Yeah, but what I like too is that you'd be like, okay, I don't want that same controller. I want to get like, because what if they have like a fucking scuff impact in there, like or one of the pros in there? You know what I mean? It's like maybe I don't want the Elite, maybe I want to get the scuff.
Stuck to what you have.
You could be like, nah, I'm gonna get something else. Yep.
I know this because not recently, but a while ago, I went through a situation with a controller where not a controller, a headset, it was Turtle Beach actually, where that model was discontinued. That model was no longer being made by Turtle Beach.
That's happened to me before with a headset. Yep.
Right. They couldn't switch out my headset for that same headset, which I wanted because they were beautiful headsets. They were great for me. But because it's an insurance and they have to, satisfy the insurance. They gave me credit, full credit, not half, not 50%, not 20%, full MSRP credit, which at the time was $250 because they were wireless ones.
Yeah.
Full MSRP credit, and I ended up getting me the SteelSeries, the ones that we were talking about in the chat. Like I literally switched brands. I'm like, I didn't know we could do that, and I worked for Best Buy, and I didn't think that was a thing. But man, we're not we're not adding in nothing. It's just it is when something that good is good. You speak on that. So
that'll be the first people that we email and reach out to and be like, yo,
fuck yeah. It was already been drafted. I'm about to like compose it.
I was gonna say
or autocorrect it.
And when you guys need an ad read, just let us know, you know what I mean?
And now Best Buy Geek Squad.
Yeah.
Complete with Total Tech.
Don't do it yet. No, you can't. Don't give them the sauce yet.
No, we got the sauce.
We got to get the bag first. Listen, we got to get the bag first.
Got to get the bag before the sauce. I get you.
Yeah.
Understandably. All right. That's we still have.
Wait, I was gonna say we want to talk. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm not beholden. I mean, listen. We know we got 20. Well, basically, if we want to keep to our normal 2 hours, we got. I mean, there's a couple of things that we could talk about.
We got our core in here that they'll stay till we finish, and it is what it is at the end of the day. And it's replay
pick your poison. Where we going with next?
So we just got off the Xbox This New feature. Let's see. Fuck it, Fall Guys.
Yeah, why not?
Let's do Fall Guys. I'll put it up there. There we go. Fall Guys. Anybody excited for this damn game? Like this shit's been not like it was announced at one point.
I've never played it.
Me neither. It's currently
I've
on
watched
PC,
people play it.
PlayStation, the Switch. My mother's fucking iPad and my daughter's. It's on everything but an Xbox. They announced this last year was coming. I even think they went as far as a date was even announced for it, and then it was like. No, I think the marketing team from Game Pass, the Game Pass McPass or whatever that thing is, that whole marketing thing they had last year, where it's like they were emailing each other and that whole thing, they marketed where the game was gonna come out, and then it was like, nah, it ain't happening. We found something wrong with it, so we gotta fix it. Bullshit. Like it's on every fucking platform, but you found something on the Xbox platform you had to fix. To me, it was more of a contractual thing or whatever, if you ask me. It's why I didn't launch, because if it was something you had to fix, why did it take a whole year to get this shit out? Finally, to say it's coming. We don't know what the announcement is. I'm assuming that's the announcement that's coming to Game Pass. But tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, it looks like there's going to be an announcement for they call it huge and big. I don't know how much bigger they can. I don't know what's huge and big about announcing that game, but they are saying it's a big announcement tomorrow 1 p.m. What you're writing there, obviously, it's for me, it's two things. It's gonna be game, because even Larry Herb is talking about it, so I'm assuming Game Pass, because he's talking about it. He talked about it in his pod this past week, and then the crossover between Fortnite and
Fortnite. If it comes to Game Pass, I'm downloading it. I'm playing the fuck out of this game because I've always wanted to play this game. I just didn't want to buy it. It's a party
game that I wanted to play.
I didn't want to buy it. I'm sorry.
It's a party game I want to play, and this more so than Among Us, Among Us is not my thing, but this year I want to play. It's a party game.
It's a party BR game. That's another thing. It's a party BR game technically.
Mm-hmm.
It is a battle royale. That's another thing too. So yeah.
But the whole
Fortnite crossover as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point the list will be shorter if you ask what's not on Fortnite crossover, because
that's true.
Asking what's on Fortnite, what game, what crossovers are on there would be a long list. Right?
It's just what isn't actually a crossover with Fortnite at this point.
Looks like those two are the things that will be announced when it comes to Fallout, and that's tomorrow 1 p.m. Eastern time.
That's cool.
But yeah, I saw that little bit of news and I said, you know what? Some of us in the community has been waiting for this game. I know I was one of those, and it was announced and it was taken away, and it was like, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? And then they said something about a bug, and I'm going my ass, especially a year later. Now we're getting some news that it might drop. Tomorrow we'll get some news that it might drop on Xbox and the whole crossover thing. I'm like, wow, you found the bug, and it took a whole year to fix that. Okay, interesting. Interesting. All right, and it's Fall Guys. So like it's a. Let me not speak for developers. But yeah, that's Fall Guys. Real short. These next little topics just throw updates anyway. So, next thing we got. I don't know if you heard Star Wars Fallen Order.
Fallen Order 2.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like again, short update. It looks like a name got announced for it. I have the notes here. Do you have the article for it? No.
Trying to look for it.
I think the leak said it'll be called Survivor. Star Wars Fallen Order or Star Wars Jedi Fall. Like I don't know what they mean, but Survivor is going to replace the Fallen Order name as a sequel. So, and I think they're using Unreal 5 for this game. So excited. Just again, update, nothing big on it, but
that was this right here. Here, I'm getting the article now.
You get the article? Star Wars Jedi called Survivor as a sequel. One thing I didn't know about this game. I played it, enjoyed it, and played it a couple of times, and I enjoyed it, especially when they FPS boosted it and they optimized it. I didn't know because a lot of people explain this game or describe this game as a Soul-like game, and I'm sitting here going, I don't think so. But I've heard this description from like Soul-like player, like people who are in that community. Like
I think because of how some of the fights were set up and stuff, but that's about it. There was no like, oh, if you die, you lose all your, like, you know what I mean? Or like not even so much roguelike, but I mean, I guess maybe just like only with some of the boss fights and how they're set up and stuff. But
I think from my experience, the only thing I experienced that's anything remotely close to Souls-like is that when you die, literally the checkpoint is in bumfuck Egypt somewhere.
Well, yeah.
So you like really go all the way back before you continue. But when people was calling it Souls-like, I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, I hate Souls-like game. Yeah. This is not that. I can attest to me not wanting to play a Souls-like game other than Elden Rings. Camera's all fuzzy, but this is not that. So I enjoyed it. I don't know what they.
From a single player perspective, that was probably one of the best experiences that I've had. Just playing just a single player game overall. Just story was super solid. I mean, it's canon as well too in the Star Wars universe. So if you're a fan of that, I mean, even things like that we're going to be seeing now in Obi-Wan. When Obi-Wan comes out,
I think there was an interview with Ewan McGregor where he was talking about how the writers, how in tune they are to even the games.
Yeah,
he didn't say Fallen Order, but the way he mentioned game, I'm going, wait, are they gonna like do like little references to the games in this show?
Well, because mean, we're getting things like Inquisitors and stuff like that, which we haven't really seen. I mean, I think we saw a little bit of that in like Rebels or I think it was Rebels and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact, how much we got even of like Vader and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Getting Vader inside of, in Fallen Order
crazy,
and that whole thing. Oh, it was nuts.
It's crazy. But Vader sells, man. Vader's a seller, man. You put him with that heavy breathing, and it's a seller, man. Like anything outside of Vader's, like Vader breathing in this series, anything outside of that's considered bad because smoking and that shit. But in fucking Star Wars universe, that heavy breathing is gold.
It's money. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, that man might have fucking some sort of lung something from smoking in his life, and that's probably why.
Well, it's a respirator because he got burned in episode 3. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? He got burned.
That whole suit's an iron lung thing. Parry is heavy. Yes, I agree. Shinra,
yeah, it is.
The parry in this fucking game was completely heavy. And I just, you know what I like about this game? You felt like a Jedi. Like, as you progressed, you felt the powers. Like the last thing before this I enjoyed from Star Wars universe was what's that other one? It was on the last gen system. They made 2 games out of that.
Just the last
Star
gen?
Killer.
The Unleashed, Force Unleashed.
Love that.
Force Unleashed is cool. The only thing that I got, I'll be honest, I'm gonna even go back further.
Have a good one, man. Thank you for joining, man.
I'm gonna go back even further, and it was Jedi Outcast. Outcast quick story. My dad, so this is going back into like early 2000s, I guess, maybe or maybe even late 90s or whatever. Like he had a PC set up in the apartment, and then he had another PC, another gaming PC that he built up just for like me and my brother, and in the other room. And me and him, when Jedi Outcast came out, we used to play LAN against each other, like so local, and do the fucking fights because you could play as Jedis and do full on lightsaber fights. And that was the one game that made me felt like, oh shit. And like so, and the irony of it is like, wait, I'm fighting my dad, and like I could, like, you know what I mean? He could be Vader, I could be Luke, and then we're fighting inside because they had mods, and you literally played out the fight from Episode 6, like when you know in front of basically when you're in front of Palpatine. It's just unbelievable.
Okay.
Yeah. Just in that room and stuff like that, just unfreaking real. So that,
I mean,
and
I'm
like
playing
legit.
through Lego right now, Lego Star Wars, and even that's a
Oh
good
yeah.
experience. I mean, I know they goof a lot in that game, where they do like those, like it's hilarious how Lego gets away with the because it's shots. They take shots at the whole Star Wars universe. Like this, when you finish the original, when you finish the original 3, 4, 5, 6, at the end of, I forgot what episode it was. I don't know, it's 5, or I think it was 6. At the end of 6, literally there's an area you can go to where they like the guys that are watching, the NPCs are watching a movie.
Yeah.
But when you get there, it already had finished. And all you hear them, like you can hear the talking in the background. They're like, "Oh man, that was a great movie, man. I hope they never do a sequel."
Oh no.
It's like the shots they take at
Well,
the
yeah.
original, like at the movies. It's
Well,
like,
just because of how much shit Lucas got from the new trilogy from 1, 2, and 3.
Correct.
And then how much shit they got from doing, even had JJ got from 7, 8, and 9. You know? So yeah.
I mean 7 and 9, because 8 was not JJ. He got taken off and then he came back to course correct, or was it the other way around?
No, that was right. He couldn't do 8, so he did 7 and 9 basically.
He did 7 and 9, okay. And then 8 was somebody else who really butchered the whole work.
Yeah,
just killed everybody off. Like, yo,
I mean,
what the fuck?
I could appreciate 8 for what it tried to do and stuff, but yeah, it wasn't out of that sequel. I mean, you know, out
it's
of that
hard though when the thing
trilogy.
is that whoever did 8 got a lot of shit and a lot of heat, because obviously if I have a vision for a trilogy and I started it off, and then you come in and you have your vision, obviously you have your vision of what you think it should be, you're gonna change all that. You're not gonna get well received because I started something already. And if you would have started off from the beginning of it, maybe it would have been better received, because your vision now is a broader vision. But the fact that they brought this person in mid trilogy, it was like, you guys should just delayed it and fucking tell JJ, take your time. So when you're ready, we do episode 8. Because obviously he came back for 9.
Yeah.
So I think it was a timing thing with movies or whatever project he was up to.
I think that's what it was too. But yeah, man, it's either way. It just, and then now I'm just waiting to see what the hell they're going to do. I mean, they've been giving us a lot of good Star Wars content as far as the Disney Plus shows are concerned. I mean, and games have been solid. Now I just need some theatrical news. I need some like big time, some theatrical news on whatever the hell they're going to do. So hopefully that comes.
Dude, when Force Unleashed came out years ago, people found that you start the game off playing as Vader. Everybody lost their shit. Yeah, I lost my shit too. I remember that. Yes, you started off as Vader. That's right. And the powers and all that you had. Oh man, it felt really good. Let's see. Take that off right there. All right. He says he has one more thing here. Let me see. Yobi says episode 8 was supposed to be Finn's. It was, man. Finn's revelation to Rey that he's force sensitive. Then 9, he was supposed to train and go ape shit while wild, but they dropped the ball. Yeah, man. I don't know what happened there, man. Like, tell you what, the marketing was all about Finn. They had a story there for Finn to set him up
from 7.
Forward.
You look and see what he was doing in 7 and stuff with the lights. Yeah, man.
And then they just said, "Fuck it, we're not going to do that." I don't know what happened there, but they just said, "Let's go somewhere else with it." I don't know. It's just mismanagement. There's that word. Somebody should lose a job for that, right?
Good old Kathleen Kennedy. No, I'm sorry,
Kathleen Kennedy. But yeah, man, that's the Star Wars thing. We have one more thing here.
I think so, possibly.
Dead Space.
Yeah,
Dead Space. Dead Space news drop date was announced. It's going to be for January 2023. There is a date, but I just don't have it in front of me right now. But it is January of next year. I've been burnt too many times, so I don't hold dates solid anymore. Unfortunately, that's the sad state we live in. I'll wait for it to be, playable in my system, so I can say, look, it launched.
That part.
I guess that's where we're at right now. But yeah, they updated with the drop date for January, and also an update on the world for Dead Space. It looks like even though it's a remake and they're keeping assets from the original Dead Space, it looks like they're introducing new monsters and new just environments or like altogether, even weapons, which is what a
That's pretty
remake
cool.
should be.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, keep original assets on there, but build on it.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. There was a whole video that dropped and everything on it. They did a whole live stream on it. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll put that in the description so you guys can check that out. But this is a game I'm really looking forward to, and I'll be disappointed if they do delay this game, because I'm looking forward to it. We haven't had a good horror suspense kind of game in a while. And I don't count like games like, in my backlog that I played already. I'm talking about like brand new experience. I think there was some news about Silent Hill, but I didn't get too much into that because it's rumors.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's the story we got. Oh, imagine if at the showcase they show off Indiana Jones.
Oh, please. I don't know if I'm excited for an Indiana. Are you excited for an Indiana Jones game?
No, I mean,
isn't that just Uncharted?
Okay, I don't want to make it seem like
I don't want to like
Indiana Jones.
I don't want to make it seem like either, because Indiana Jones is dope, like Spielberg.
It's the same thing with Starfield. It's what got me with Starfield was the hype of the date.
Yeah.
Still not knowing nothing about it. With Indiana Jones, there's nothing to go on for me to get excited on. I love the movies back in the days. In fact, I owned them at one point in my life. They're probably in the storage somewhere, but I've owned the VHSs.
Right.
Am I excited for it to the point where like, yo, Indiana Jones?
Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to expect or see from an Indiana Jones game that I haven't already experienced with the
I need to know what you're going to do.
series.
Is it a Tomb Raider kind of a thing? Uncharted? Is it what is it? Like, I want to know what it is. I'm assuming it's going to be more like Uncharted.
That's what I'm assuming.
Kind of play animation and everything. So I can't wait to see that's a prediction of mine. Indiana Jones probably being in this showcase. It's because they delayed 2 games, right? Bethesda delayed 2 games, not 1 but 2 games, and it's like okay, okay, let's see. They might.
We're still probably going to see said games though, and you know what I mean. Like
I still think we're going to see. Went in there and was like, "Yo, if you want to delay this, from what I've seen, you should. We got all of this shit coming out anyways that we can announce." I gotta think that. I mean, Phil's been doing this thing, and let me praise Phil a little bit here. Kudos to him because he's up there taking his shots. Like he's and that's his job, right? He's up there taking his shots and gracefully, just like he takes his wins and his awards that he won for executive for the year, whatever that was. He's taking his L's and his dings likewise. He could have hid, he could have went away, he could have, not even tweeted. He could have just stood in the background going, fuck it, I'll let Bethesda take all that fucking heat. And we'll just be in the background. But no, this man came out and tweeted out saying, yo, listen, we fucked up. And here's what we got for you guys. We hear you, and we're going to work on it. So kudos to that man. This is how you win awards, by the way. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what we got, man. I appreciate everybody coming into the chat. What's this, episode 48? We're about to close into episode 50, man. That is man. We started this shit with if you guys look at the first couple episodes, this was a fucking trip to where we're at right now. Episode 48, about to be 50 in a couple of episodes. We're gaining subscribers a lot more frequently. I'm excited for that. It's not like once every month anymore. We're getting a few every time here and there. That's because of you guys, tweeting us out and talking, highly of this.
No, it helps. The retweets definitely help sharing us out there. We definitely appreciate that.
And I'm trying to be as active as I can in that Twitter community. You guys are like those who follow me on Twitter. You know how I feel about different things. And I apologize. I gotta say this. I apologize for tweeting out something so angry yesterday. I don't know if you caught that. But there was a tweet that I put out. I was a little angry yesterday. A certain individual in the community that I'm not even going to name. But kind of angry about that. So it was something that I witnessed that I was like, this is, wow. On a podcast yesterday, what happened. I'm like, this is very disrespectful what I saw. So I'm not going to, if you want to see the tweet, it's on my thing. But I don't like that we acknowledge these type of people in our community. I don't like that we put them on a pedestal or that we keep giving these people in our community so many chances. As far as, not that I'm saying he should be canceled. I get 2 shits about cancel culture, but we can't sit here and call out racism and a bunch of different things, and we sitting here letting somebody in our community do that all day, every day, just gaining views and gaining, subs and all this to the channel and all that kind of stuff, and that's all they're spewing. It's like I don't get it. Like I don't get it. But that's my little thing. That's my thought for today. That's my Sensei's thoughts to end the podcast. Other than that, man, we'll be back next week for episode 49. Logic. Any final thoughts?
Let's go Rangers. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Rangers, though. Game 7 right now. Let's go.
Game 7 Rangers. Yankees won.
Drop the puck. Yankees won 8 series in a row. 25-9. Rocking and rolling. Rangers.
98 Yankees, baby.
Man, let's just keep it moving. Keep it pushing. They still got
wins and a series sweep in the World Series against San Diego. That's what happened in '98. It'll happen again.
That's it, man.
Other than that, guys, man, let's go Yankees. Let's go Rangers. Game 7 tonight. We'll watch that. But other than that, I look forward to next week. Hopefully there's something that drops that's going to take the attention off of the Starfield talk. But other than that, stay tuned to my daily drops every single day, Monday through Friday. Yes, it's Monday through Friday, not the weekends. I don't do weekends. Unless you want to pay me for the weekends, I ain't doing weekend videos. That's for the family and for this pod. But other than that, man, that's it. Thank you guys for joining. And as I say every single week, happy fucking gaming.
Later.